Welcome to the TSL Recap. I'm OSB and I'm going to commentate through this week's matchups. The Terran Star Battle League just went into its second season with 11 teams registered, and for the next 4 months we will have constant Star Battle action with the best teams of NA and EU server. Starting off, we have Unwanted versus Skillosophy. Game 1 and Game 3 got decided early as Unwanted loses players and therefore the matches are quick. Here we see Reborn playing a side lane overlord. He ends up being out of position and Skillosophy's BC gets spent and their Raven Black magic finish him. Help comes too late and Unwanted is unable to recover from this position. Skillosophy takes the first game as we jump into Game 3, which ended in a similar style. Once again, Jedi's and Reborn's team fall behind quickly. Jedi himself on the Colossus gets finished, giving the second rather easy match victory to Shockwave and his mate. In Game 2, Unwanted demonstrated they have the potential to put up a good fight. We see no major mistakes for 50 minutes and a game that can go either way. Unfortunately, it gets decided once more by an individual mistake. A Logarithm who tries to clear the opposing swarm command dives in too far. Subgods with Psyblast and Shockwave with his Thermal Lance add substantial damage and give Alogo no chance to make it out. With that, Skillosophy takes the series 3-0 without a single ship loss. In the second series, we have Cookie versus Praxium. Wildfire from Cookie sets up a deep warp trick. The Raven from Praxium decides to Seeker him, causing the Raven to fall behind his team, getting caught by the Cookies and ends up dying from Rasputin's beam. Praxium is unable to get a kill in return, leaving Cookie with a fast and clean win. Game 2 looked like a repeat as Caboose Texas almost the entire enemy team. Captain Stabin the BC is the target and does not make it out alive. Once again a clean kill, and from here on the contain starts and Cookie's victory is only a question of time. Crackshot, though, the well-farmed Void decides to take his spot on the fail of the week and Novas himself to death. With that, Praxium has hope that unfortunately 10 minutes later gets destroyed. Caboose launches everything he's got onto Death Star, and Shanks the carrier feels forced to text his mate to save him. That's where Crackshot's time has arrived, and he jumps out of the cloud he was hiding in the past minutes, though Cookie didn't really need him to close the game. Game 3, which we will not take a look at, lasted for 3 minutes with Cookie taking it down as well. 3-0 for Wildfire's team as we jump into the next series. Mortal Legion, one of the European teams, started out with a good fight for the first 20 minutes. Bone Thug, though, ends up getting killed by DP's Void Harlock, and war starts. MLE tries to counter at all costs, and we see it backfiring as the second DP Void comes from behind and finishes Sam. With that, Game 1 is decided and MLE ends up doing a similar mistake in Game 2. They warp trick deep at the end of Port Zion's hallway and overpush on DP. The command is given to turn, and right when MLE thought they would make it out alive, OSB stops his solo farming for a moment to finish their Raven. The counter backfires again with Blue and Sam going down as well. Being behind 2 games, it's time for some cheese. Agam opens Blink with his team buying Warp, and they coordinate a well-timed trick at the very start of the game. OSMe finds himself in trouble and barely makes it out alive. MLE is not done though, and shortly after gets their first clean kill in the series. It seemed very possible at this stage for them to take the game, until we see a solo kill on Agam. The revenge attempt couldn't have gone any worse, as they lose more ships in all the same scene. Blue, former captain of Newbie Army, is forced to call the GG. In our next matchup, we see two friendly clans having some training matches. Early in game 1, Tough puts himself in trouble, and 7th goes for him. G-Wood, the 21Z Levy, pops his frenzy, but 7th doesn't let go. 21Z is going for it, and takes 3 ships in return. Duality the Raven, Laptop the Void, and Riker on his Dread go down. The game ends shortly after. In the second training match, 7th is able to take an early farm advantage. Unfortunately, Riker changes the game as he was not aware that 21Z's Raven has EMP. Riker finds himself being stuck in the asteroids and therefore has no chance to escape. Few minutes later, G-Wood ends the game with another warp trick at the end of Port Zion's middle lane. 7th is going for Rumpera, while the main DPS of 21Z is on Laptop Panda the Void. Both Ravens go down, but 21Z also takes the other side laner, and with that, the game. In the last match, we see 2 clean Void kills after 25 and 30 minutes. The American team 7th Fleet, captained by Riker, first loses their tank Woodles, with no exchange in return. After that, it is Riker himself who falls victim to the double charged beam. The game goes on for around 40 more minutes, with 21Z unable to close it, until finally both towers went down and 7th pushes out too far for the first time. 21Z surprisingly takes the series 3-0, which leads us to the most intense series of the week. In this week's Spotlight, we see possibly 2 of the strongest teams fighting it out. Game 1 goes to the Americans, and Game 2 goes to the Russians. Sanek playing a side lane Arbiter, hitting the early stasis on Chapig, but with their Void being pushed back before the stasis happened, they missed their kill mechanism. It turns out Eclipses wins an open fight, and Red Alert's captain Ivanopoulos goes down, as do his mates soon after. Red Alert evens the series in Game 2 as they put their carrier DPS on Warlaster, the Raven with both Colossus pushing him as well. The minions leave him with very low HP, and he almost makes it to the heal beam. Unfortunately, he can't survive it, and the series is 1-1 as we go into Game 3. Red Alert spawning in the top, playing KKRRCV, while the bottom team Eclipses seems to have a counter prepared, playing Double Overlord. It seems to work out as Eclipses contains Red Alert hard for the first 40 minutes. The farm lead rises to almost 1,000, and the Russians need to make something happen, as I leave you alone with the outcome. And what a turnaround we saw as Red Alert is able to take the series 2-1 in an impressive fashion. We take a look at the results and standings. Thanks for watching everyone, and tune in next week for more Terran Star Battle League action.
Wow, Shapig's in some trouble here.
Will he get it? He does, and he breaks the D-shield. Very lucky.
Oh my god, Wink is in big, no, Wink's in big trouble here. He's dead. He's gone.